Because what runs in families is these deficiencies, these broken genes, which don't allow you to methylate to create this raw material in your body. And right now, if you knew exactly what your body could convert into the usable form and what it couldn't, and you just replaced that raw material, you would be shocked at how much your performance improved, how easy it would be to strip weight off your body, how fast your short-term recall would return, how quickly your sleep would deepen, how quickly your response to exercise would go through the roof. And those of you that compete or in the martial arts industry, you would see your hand-eye timing, speed, and coordination go through the roof like they probably were 15 or 20 years prior. So, are you guys interested in figuring out what that is? I love talking to like health conscious groups. So, I was on this journey for 4.5 years, and I met a very special patient of mine named Grant Cardone. Do you guys know Grant? Yeah, love him or hate him. I know half the people I meet are like, I can't stand that guy, and half of them are like, he's amazing. So I was, my fiance and I had our wellness practice, and we touched the life of a good friend of his, and then he was making a major investment in Grant's fund, and he said, Grant, before I put this money in, I want you to do this test by this human biologist in Naples, Florida, and I want you to do this blood test, and I want you to do this gene test where they swab your cheek, and he's going to figure out what's wrong with you. And Grant's like, there's nothing wrong with me. And he's like, well, if you want the money, you got to do the test. So he did the test. And at the time, I wasn't super familiar with who Grant was, but I was in my office, and he called the office, and I answered the phone. He's like, hey, Gary, this is Grant Cardone. I said, hey, Mr. Cardone. And he said, look, man, I don't even know who you are. I don't know what you do. But before you start, I should just tell you, I got doctors hanging on trees, and I got personal trainers coming out of my ass. Exact words. I don't like to cuss from the stage. And he said, I got personal trainers coming out of my ass. He said, I got 8 minutes, man. Why don't you just give me your spiel? And I was like, okay, well, aren't you rude? I didn't actually say that, but that is exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, you're a rude little thing, aren't you? And so I said, well, why don't we start by you telling me how you feel? He goes, I feel great. I'm running around the world. I'm building my empire. I feel great. And I said, well, do you mind if I tell you what I see in this test? And he said, no, go ahead. I said, well, Grant, I see a man that goes to bed exhausted, but his mind keeps him up until the wee hours of the morning, so that by the time you wake up in the morning, you're more exhausted than when you went to bed. I can see that you wake up sore and achy in the morning like you had a hard workout the night before when you haven't, and I bet it really bothers you that the soles of your feet and your ankles are sore when you get out of bed to walk to the bathroom and take your first piss in the morning. And he started to get quiet. And then I said, look, man, I don't know anything about your love life, but libido left the building about 9 months ago.